Hello gorgeous people, how are you all doing today? I hope you are all well, fine and dandy. I'm okay. The sun's coming out, yay! Feels like maybe spring has finally arrived. Gosh, it makes such a difference, doesn't it? I feel happy and lifted. Right, well, it's the end of April, you're going to see this in May, and I've done my shopping. It feels like already ages ago since I last saw you in the kitchen and was chatting to you about that stuff. It's just a couple of days. So I'd already done one bit of my shopping, and that is the bouillon powder. So that size retails at £7.50, but like I said, I get a 10% discount at my health food store because I've been a regular for 20 years, so I've got my special discount card. So it was £6.75. I'm mentioning that little bit of discount again because there's a reference to it right at the end, because this is a really massive spend this week. So okay, the bouillon. Now, one of the reasons for making this video today is because folk have asked over time, and they've sort of said, yeah, but what about, because I've mentioned in previous videos, sorry, the sun's made me giddy today. Right, thoughts in order. I have mentioned about bulk purchasing of things, and that tends to bring the price down, what have you. But I've never shown any of that. I just tend to show, I don't show every single week's shopping. Far from it. That would be really boring after a while. So I've just tended to show every now and again when it's like, oh, these veggies, whatever. So that's the reason for doing today's video, because this is one of those instances where I'm doing a big, massive shop. So you can slot this one into context of all the others throughout the year. So we've got veg stock for £6.75. Then, was it Gemma? Hi Gemma, I think it was Gemma who mentioned that Lidl were having their annual Greek week. Love Lidl's Greek week. I just love Greek food. I love all Mediterranean food. Anyway, so I popped down there knowing that, because remember I mentioned wanting to buy some oil. So I actually picked up two things when I was there. I'll come on to the oil in a second. I also wanted to buy some more thyme. I just wanted to buy some more thyme. They didn't have any. So I actually ended up buying a bottle of dried thyme because I thought, then if I get the urge to do a mammoth cooking session at 3 a.m, if I've got most of my ingredients, that's perfectly possible. But there wouldn't be any fresh thyme. In fairness, if I wanted to do that at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would go to my Turkish supermarket, which is open 24 hours a day. But you don't necessarily want to schlep out at 3 a.m. in your jimmy jams and slippers for a bunch of thyme, do you? So I thought, you know what, let's have some dried thyme, and that can sit on standby. What's the use by date? How long do they? January 27. That's got nearly 3 years shelf life. It'll be used before 3 years. And that cost 79p. And now the oil. I was mentioning how I would normally try to get oil for around about £10 a litre. Maybe you can get it a little bit under that. You can certainly get oil for a lot more. That French one there, that Alziari, that's actually just the tin now that I reuse. I bought that in France, and I think it was about £20. That's a litre. So it's quite a lot of money, isn't it? But what a beautiful memento to bring home from France. You can get that in the UK at Selfridges, for example, for £50, 50. No, thank you. Anyway, so I was mentioning I was going to try and get my oil for around £10 a litre. However, I will pay more if it's a decent oil. You know, when you think about that, oil is going to go into most foods and it's going to flavour everything I eat. And especially now as we come into sort of summer, hopefully, I'll be having it on salads, on raw food. So I'll be having the oil raw on raw food. I'm really going to taste it. I really want a decent oil. So yay for Lidl's Greek week. It's Kalamata olive oil. You see there it says PDO. That just simply, what does it stand for? I think it's product of designated origin. It's like if we think in France of the appellation contrôlée. So for instance, champagne can only be from the Champagne region, Champagne. In the UK, it's like cheddar cheese can only be from Cheddar, or a Melton Mowbray pie can only be from that little place in, is it Leicestershire, Melton Mowbray? Wensleydale cheese from the Valley of Wensleydale in Yorkshire. So yeah, it's a product of designated origin. I think this is the one I had 2 years ago. And if it's the same, if they've had it from the same producers in Greece, it was really lovely. So this is half a litre and it cost £5.99. So my litre price is £12. So I've gone a little bit over, but not too far over for something that's really, really lovely. So yeah, so my Lidl spend, where's the oh yeah, there we go. So my Lidl spend £6.78. Lovely jubbly. So far, that little trio there, that accounts for £13.53, or in US dollars, that's $16.90. So that would normally be, you know, that would be kind of it for the week. I try to keep my shopping to around about £10-12 a week. Sometimes it's quite a bit less, sometimes this week it's a lot more, but then it's spread because although I allow £10 to £12 for my food shopping, I allow myself £35 a week to live on. So if I do need to purchase something like, I don't know, an item of clothing, a bus ticket, whatever it is, there is that anything between 10 and 35, then that's left over for me to use for other stuff. So some weeks, like this week, I've gone over 35 even. So I'm like using 2 weeks budget up. But that's okay because I didn't need to buy much fresh stuff. What I haven't bought yet, I didn't get any onions or greens. Excuse me, yet. So I will spend about £3 on some onions and greens. I'm just sorry, my head's coming down because my maths is down here. So with £3 on onions and greens as well, that's going to take it up to about £16.50 for this week. But of course, that is going to last me for months. How many weeks? Yeah, it should last maybe 3 or 4 months. The stock powder, that's going to last for months. I would say, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 months. The oil is going to last for months. So you could spread that cost out over, let's be really greedy and say, I'm going to use it all up in 3 months. Oh, that's tricky maths. That's about £4.50, £1 a week. So I've added £1 a week to my shopping. I think they'll last longer than that though. Right, so what's the big, just before I come on to the big spend, I can't remember what I was looking, I was looking for chili powder rather than chili flakes. And I thought I had a packet right at the back of my food cupboard. My food cupboard, it's literally, it's that wide, it's just one shelf in the cupboard. That's it. Because I rely so much mainly on fresh stuff, the freezer, produce of course. So I don't go in that cupboard very often, and I tend to have in there, like, for example, a jar of pesto. I mentioned the other day, it's a quick, really quick and easy lunch if I've forgotten to get something out the freezer, if I'm tired and I don't feel like cooking, if I'm in too much of a rush. So a jar of pesto, great. And other than that, maybe a couple of tins of beans, a few tins of chickpeas. Chickpeas are quite useful to have, tins of in the cupboard. And I've got a box of chamomile tea in there, which was in a Christmas hamper from Joanne. Thank you, lovely. But yeah, that's probably going to stay in the cupboard for another 8 months or so. Anyway, so I was fishing in there for the chilli, and I suddenly remembered I've got a tin of baked beans here. That's another kind of standby in the cupboard. And I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes. And I don't know why I've got this tin of chopped tomatoes. I think I must have bought them as a prop for a video. But then obviously my mind thinking, but at some point, obviously I'll use them. For example, if I forget to get a portion of tomatoes out of the freezer. Great, I've got a tin on standby. But because I use that cupboard so infrequently, I had a bit of a shock. So I pulled everything out, just gave the shelf a bit of a wipe, and I thought I'd better check my tins. How long have I had that? Just out of curiosity. So I started looking on the undersides and realised there's stuff right coming up to its use by date. So what I've done, I'm sure loads of you do this anyway, but this is definitely a habit that I need to get into, is I've just written on it really obviously month and year, which is the best before date. And I know some people say, oh, you can ignore all the dates. I'd rather not, I want to be safe. Excuse me, another slurp. But never mind that even. I think it's just good management of your cupboards to use up the older stuff first. So yeah, I went through and with a marker pen, I put the dates on. So that needs to be used up in the next couple of days. And the chopped tomatoes, that's August this year. So again, I'm going to keep that out actually, because then this week when I'm cooking, rather than using it's a toss-up though, isn't it? Because I was going to say use it instead of my freezer tomatoes, but then if the freezer breaks down and they all get ruined, so I should use my freezer tomatoes first, but I'm going to have this on the front of the shelf. It's really in my mind now, so I'll make sure I get that used up as we go into and during the summer. Anyway, I just thought I'd quickly mention that and share that with you, because I think, I've actually got an extra bag of brown rice in there and an extra bag of lentils, and I've done it on those bags as well, although they tend to get used much more frequently. But yeah, I think note to self, write dates on things. If it's a little corner cupboard, if it's a part of the kitchen you don't use very much, you don't go to. Right, now the big ticket item, £27.99. Call it 28 quid. And this is something I have been meaning to do for the longest time, or at least look into a bit more thoroughly. It came up after, was it in 22? I think in 2022, my lovely second cousin came over for the day, and we went and had a picnic in the garden. And it was that day she brought some books for me. She brought me the Henrietta Lacks book and the Andrea Levy Small Island book. Brilliant. So we're sitting there in the sunshine having our picnic, and I don't know how the conversation turned to it, but the conversation turned to loo rolls, lavatory paper. And she's been using and was recommending the company Who Gives a Crap, although she can't say the C word. She's so funny. She went the company Who Gives a God love her. So she put the thought in my mind, and then Kate at Last Homely House I know she uses them as well, because some of you will have seen this. She did this gorgeous little stop frame animation, because each of the rolls comes wrapped in a piece of paper, and they put designs on the paper, so it was almost like making a like people and building blocks, and was it like nutcracker type figures. So she did this animation where moving all the loo rolls around to create almost like a little puppet theatre. It was adorable. So they'd been in my mind for ages. But the only thing was, and I've done a little quick bit of looking up so I can impart this information and share it, because we're all sharing caring here, aren't we? The thing that had put me off, where are we? Who gives it? Yeah. At the time, it was bamboo, paper made from bamboo. And okay, bamboo is a sustainable crop. It grows quickly, we can keep planting, but even so, it's still taking up land which could be left wild. So that was my slight, but the big thing for me was they get shipped all the way from China. And it just seemed mad to me to have my loo rolls come all the way from China. So that's still the case today, but they do now do a recycled paper. So for those of you who don't want to have paper made from virgin plant material, whether it's wood or bamboo, they do a recycled one now. And it works out about £1 per roll. So in the meantime, I've carried on using the brand that I've been using for years now. I don't know how long. It's called Eco Leaf. Let me look at their prices. I think it's £7.50 for a 9-roll pack. I say think because, again, I get it from my health food shop, so I get my little 10% discount. So their stuff is made from recycled post-consumer waste, paper wrapper, of course, these are all in paper wrappers. The thing about all of these is that there's no plastic involved. It's all about that single-use plastic, blah, 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 I won't go on one. So the Eco Leaf, it's post-consumer waste, recycled, great. And for me, the thing is, it's made in the UK. So the mileage is infinitesimally smaller than who gives a so that's the one I use, Eco Leaf. There's another one that a friend of mine uses called Cheeky Panda. And that, again, that's a bamboo paper. But again, it's shipped all the way from China. So it's manufactured in China and it comes all the way here. All, again, around that same sort of, they all seem to be between about sort of £7 and £9 for the 9-pack. So I've stuck with my Eco Leaf. I get a bit discount on it. It's manufactured in the UK, less miles, great. But then I kept seeing an advert and check out, because I think there's an offer on, and who knows, it may still be applicable. I kept seeing it flashing up on the computer whenever I was doing anything, and I thought, okay, come on, let's have a look. And it's for a company called, is this the name of the company? Serious Tissues. And they were offering a 20% discount. So the discount code, if you want to try it, is the word serious, all in capital letters, and then the number 20 to 0 rather than the word. So Serious 20 was the discount code. So I went and had a look at them. So I'm having to read notes here because this is all new and just in the last few days. So it's post-consumer waste recycled, but the other main thing about that is they source the post-consumer waste from the UK, so they don't ship the post-consumer waste in as some companies do. So it's keeping the miles down. It's keeping those miles down. So it's sourced and made in the UK. The rolls are slightly longer rolls. I think it's supposed to be like 1.5 times a standard roll. And they work out at about £1 per roll. So a 9-pack, it's not £9, it's more like £6 because that 1.5 times extra per roll takes you up to a 9-pack. So it's about £6 for a 9-pack. great. So it's ticking a lot of boxes for me. It's cheaper than what I'm using currently. It's made in the UK, post-consumer waste, brilliant. So I went ahead and looked on their website, priced it all up, and I think the smallest amount I could get, so I could bulk order it, 36 rolls, which worked out at £34, but with the discount I got it for 28, and they've arrived. It's massive. I haven't even opened it yet. Okay, so should we have a look at one of them? Let's see. Is that compostable tape? I don't know. There we go. Oh, it's quilted. Feels soft. Feels, I don't know if you can get a sense of it, but yeah, let me crumple it a bit. Yeah. I don't know why I'm sniffing it. I hope I don't smell the association. That's brilliant. And I think, so sorry, something else I should have said about Who Gives a Crap is they do donate 50% of their profits to various charities. I didn't look any further into which charities they support, but if you are someone who likes to make donations on top of your purchase, they are doing that. I don't think my serious loo rolls did. Made in the UK, reduces our footprint, 100% recycled, no unnecessary packaging, so each roll, there's no individual wrapping on each roll. Half as much adhesive. We've increased the thickness of the paper, but half the amount of glue used. Great. So, I mean, it feels nice. Can't wait to start using them. No, I think the two slight downsides for me were, one, it's a delivery system. So I'm not completely anti having things delivered. I know I bang on about going to the high street and having human interaction. It's more about the convenience of, when is it going to be delivered? There are some companies, if you order something online, they process it really quickly and within 2 days it's delivered. I didn't know how long are they going to take. It has taken about 6 or 7 days, but it included a weekend, but it's here now. So that slight downside of having to be at home to receive a parcel, not so great. Also, buying in bulk, this is 36 rolls. What if I hadn't liked it? There's no kind of sample. Maybe I should let them know to say, look, this feels, I'm happy as soon as I've got this out of the box. Maybe, can you do a sample pack of, say, 4? I don't know how. Anyway, so that's the only downside. You have to buy a minimum of, what did I say? I think it's 36 is the minimum, and it's a delivery, so you have to be in to accept it. I think they do a subscription scheme too. That might make things work out cheaper. To do that, you're going to have to get some idea of how many loo rolls you use. I actually know how many loo rolls I use because for some unknown reason, I don't know why I did it. Ages ago I did this. I worked out how many loo rolls I use per week. I use 2 1/3 loo rolls each week. A loo roll, anyway, a loo roll lasts me 3 days. So that's a couple of months in there, isn't it? Oh, I should have worked this out. Do you know what? Where's my pen? Let me do some maths. 2 1/3 a week, 4 2/3 in 2 weeks, 6 and 3, so 7 in 3 weeks. So 7 rolls in 3 weeks. Therefore, 36 divided by 7, 7, 14, 18, 28, 35, 5 times my 3 weeks, 15 weeks. Divide that by, it's nearly 4 months. Mental arithmetic in action. Show your workings. I can't show you my workings because the workings are in here. So that's going to be a supply for nearly 4. You know what? Let's be mean and say that's a supply for 3 months. Great. So that brings me in at £9 a month. Yeah. That seems too easy. Anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd share that with you today. There are all sorts of options out there. Now, the other thing that I haven't looked into is I've got 3. I've got 3 of the main kind of high street supermarkets near me. I've got a Sainsbury's, a Tesco and a Lidl. They're all the small versions though. They're all the kind of, what do they call them, metro or local or whatever. So the range of stock is very limited. It's sort of one of everything, but lots of different things. So for example, in both my Tesco's and the Sainsbury's, they only sell 2 types of loo paper, their own brand and then one of the big well-known brands. I'm not going to give them a shout out here. And so there's none of them are recycled. So the Sainsbury's, I think they've changed to a paper wrapper. Great, but it's all virgin pulp, virgin wood pulp they're using. So in my immediate vicinity, I can't get recycled loo rolls in a paper packet except at my health food store. It may be that in a much, much bigger, I've got a massive Sainsbury's a couple of miles away. Massive, it's like an airport hangar, you know, it's that kind of one of those really vast ones. It's quite possible that in there I could find something that's both recycled in a paper wrapper and just grab it off the shelf. However, I don't go down that way. It's a bus ride, bus fares have just gone up. The return fare would be £3.50. So actually, why not support a small British company, even though it means having it delivered? I'm really happy. I kind of, I don't know, I had visions of it being sort of like grey and rough and hard and scratchy. I don't know why. I was maybe even thinking of that awful loo paper at school. Do you remember it? It's better for use as either tracing paper or writing an airmail letter on. It was so scratchy. Zero absorbency. All it did was kind of, putting it bluntly, just skid off your bum, leaving a scratch as it went, and it wouldn't take anything away with it. Let's just say that. Right, my lovelies, so that's it for this week's shopping. But in fact, this is all going to do me best part of 4 months. So in total, I've spent today £41.52. In US dollars, that's 51.22. I haven't spent that just today. That's been spent this week. So yeah, £41.52. It's a lot of money, but like I said, it's going to be spread over 4 months, £10 a month, and actually there's more than 4 weeks in a month. So it's about £2 a week. So it's about £2. That will last way longer. I'm being really harsh and mean on myself. It's probably going to be more like 5 months. I'm going to say that this is about another £1.75 on my weekly shop. So if I'm getting veggies and all my bits and bobs for £8 or so, then this kind of stuff, you know, tenner. Yay! But that's expensive and lovely oil. I'm really pleased with those. They look great. Now, yes, the other slight downside. This is because I was thinking about this when they arrived yesterday. Where to store them? That's quite a big bulky box, isn't it? And obviously I live in quite a compact home. And then I came up with the genius idea. Of course, my bath is freestanding, isn't it? So at the far end of the bath, under the eaves of the ceiling, I can tuck the box right in there. And it makes sense because it's in the bathroom. And then I can just decant 6 or 7 at a time, put them in the basket near the loo, and they're ready for use. Yay! All right, lovelies. Yeah, that's it. An expensive one, and to add to it, yeah, just says, well, I will be getting some greens and a handful of onions, but otherwise I'm using whatever else I've got in in the cupboard. Yeah, I can get them used up. Cupboard, freezer, still got squash there in my basket under the window, all my pantry ingredients up there. I'm not going to go hungry this week, or ever for that matter. I'll see you all again really soon. What we're doing next, I've no idea. Oh yeah, I might do, not today, but my personal hygiene purchases. If we're in this mood of, okay, Vivi, apart from food, you're adding other stuff on, what else are you spending? So yeah, we'll do this sort of the personal hygiene. We'll do the bathroom stuff. I'm not going to demonstrate. Actually, do you know what? I don't use tissue for my nose, but I'm going to turn you off just for a second while I blow my nose, and then I can report back on softness. Not in the least scratchy. So if you're a person who uses loo roll to blow your nose, especially, can I get it in left-handed? Shocked. Yeah, especially, when you've got a cold or something, and you're in bed and you take a loo roll for your nose. That was nice and soft on my nose. Yay! So far so good. Serious tissues, Serious 20 discount code. All right, lovelies. Yeah, I'll see you soon for the sort of personal hygiene purchases, and cleaning, and there's some cooking to come, and whatever happens will happen, and we'll do it together, whatever it is. So until then, please look after yourselves. If you're getting a little bit of sunshine, like we finally are, try and get out. Even if it's just 15 minutes, just feel it on your face. Until the next time, cheerio.